Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's Rebranded Gaming here, and welcome back. Today we are starting. Well, I guess we're gonna be starting and finishing, hopefully. Ghostwire Tokyo Prelude: The Corrupted Case File. This is the prequel visual novel that Tango Games and Bethesda released for Ghostwire Tokyo, which is coming out. I guess by the time I don't know when I'm planning on uploading this. I don't know if I'm gonna upload it. Uh, Either when you're watching this, you'll know whether the game's out or not. Game comes out on March 25th, 2022, which is, as of me recording this Friday, but that may have already passed. I might upload this on Monday. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. Anyways, we're gonna quickly roll on into it. Sadly, things aren't voice acted, so I guess I'm gonna have to try to read some of this out. Rinko? God damn it, Rinko. Erica? Yeah, I don't know. So I don't typically play visual novels, but well, I actually do. Never mind. Well, no one wants to talk about it, but it's all that's on anyone's mind these days. Mysterious things are happening all around Shibuya. Also, I'm bad at Japanese, so I'm probably going to mispronounce a lot of these names. That's fine. I'm sorry for those of you that are like, it's pronounced this way. My bad. Anyways, but yeah. Sightings, attacks, disappearances, fear. How was a kid supposed to be a kid in a time like this? But honestly, Ryota never really was like most kids. He's not usually glued to his phone all day. I think it's ooh, Ikiri Gaoga vanishing, the Maru Naochi vanishing, the bathroom. I cannot read. Oh, what did I? Oh, cool. We actually get to click on these. Ryota's concerns bring him to a mysterious case file posted online. It's titled Ikiri Gaoka. That was a G last I saw, but okay. Vanishing. Reads it to himself the best he can. Having tracked another report of dark fog to the area, I arrived to find it had passed, leaving dreary rain hanging over the neighborhood. At the scene, all we found were the clothes of a mother and a son left behind, like two molted cicada. Yeah, that's the correct word, cicada shells. It's hard to even imagine a parent and her child just gone, precious lives snuffed out forever. My heart sank knowing that I had failed to protect them. Who is this kid? It was the worst feeling I'd ever felt. As if on cue, the rain started pouring down, heavier and heavier. It fell with each passing minute, but I couldn't be bothered to take out my umbrella. That's when the obvious culprits returned to the scene of the crime. A group of monsters. They had umbrellas of their own, as if rain followed them wherever they go. I was furious. I brought hell down onto them at that very moment. They tried to protect themselves with the umbrellas, but I just kept pounding on them until they were battered and broken. I was so exhausted I could have fallen over at any moment, but my utter wrath kept me going. As I picked up to leave, I still refused to open up my own umbrella. I just walked away. The rain kept pouring and soaking me to the bone. Kike. I don't know how that. I've only read it, the name, so I'm not sure if there's a name to it, actually like an actual sound besides just KK. Unable to shake the idea that the monsters are all around him, Ryota navigates on his phone to a document called the Marunochi Vanishing. The language is complicated, but he works to understand it. It says, I got a tip on a missing woman from Marunochi. When you've been a detective as long as I have, you tend to build up a big network of contacts. The story my contact told me was that they saw the woman one day when the fog rolled in. It blanketed the area, and then poof, she was gone. Time like these make me wish a certain somebody was around. Come to think of it, the fog in these disappearances set the scene for when I first met the rest of my crew. Everybody kept talking about folks just up and disappearing, and I thought it was a load of horseshit. It wasn't until I met them, and until my encounter, that I believed. Ever since then, I've been haunted by what I would have once called hallucinations. Turned out being able to see spirits and monsters isn't fantasy movie nonsense after all. Guess I should be thankful, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen through that monster taking the form of a woman. She made a bunch of red orbs appear that chased me around, but I knew so long as I didn't let myself get surrounded, I'd be okay. She was a nightmare to look at, so I put her out of her misery. When I searched the scene, I spotted a woman's handbag, found the missing lady's ID cards in there. Then I came across some clothes that all looked like they would have been hers. They were in a little pile, but the way they had fallen made it clear her body had just vanished. No mistaking whose handiwork it was either. I'd finally managed to get my hands on a solid enough lead to work with. KK. Ah, I see. I'm starting to make a connection here. Can we click on these other buttons? Nope. Okay. Monsters really live among us? These case files say that yes, they absolutely can, and do. According to this one. Lady called me about a missing person who vanished from the bathroom of her apartment. Usually I'd brush it off as another runaway, but after seeing the crows circling above her apartment, I had a feeling there'd be more to this. The black stains on the front door verified my hunch. It turns out that I'm the only one that can see those black stains. The lady who lived there and showed me in made no signs of noticing it. She showed me the bathtub and gave me a play-by-play of what happened. Her boyfriend was taking a bath longer than usual, and so she went to the bathroom to check in on him. When she opened the door, her boyfriend was gone, and for a short instant, there's a reflection of an old shrine on the surface of the bath water. I rubbed my finger on the rim of the bathtub, and there was a transparent, sticky, slime-like substance on it. A reflection of a shrine shone on the water's surface. I'll need to talk further with my team about this incident to see if these things ring any bells. I purged the black stain on the front door and then left the scene. Poor lady. What will she do now? What can any of us do? KK. I guess we reread this one? In these posts, the kid found something or other. Someone called KK has been looking into these monsters in this part of town. A believer, just like Ryota. Social media would never lie, and that mean... Yeah, I just read that statement. Okay, and that means KK is an expert. Maybe the expert in all things paranormal. There's one thing left to do. Having pored over every story, post, and grainy photo about local monsters he could find, Ryota prepares to take action. Voices are going to be weird for me. We're going to work on this. I'm going to go ask this KK guy to help. Just got to figure out where he lives first. Are we... What? Okay. Oh. Dear Mr. Investigator person. He's probably going to be writing that note. Dear Mr. Investigator person, hello. How are you? I'm not good. I'm not good and I need your help. Monsters got my best friend, I'm used to seeing Sasuke. Sasuke? Rinko sits up in her chair. She zeroed in on one of a dozen monitors from across a makeshift command center stuffed into this cramped Tokyo apartment. It happened near this manhole. Please help me get him back. Data files look... Again, bad at voices. Data flies across the screen, seeing too much. Seemingly too much. Charts and graphs, maps and mathematical equations. Even social media feeds and open case files. Somehow, though, through all of those screens and all that clutter, Ryota's message catches Rinko's eye. Sounds desperate, but it could just be some bored kid trolling us. Calm and confident, Rinko insists on balancing compassion with skepticism in her analytical approach. On the other hand, that manhole is within the vicinity of several recent incidents. Maybe he is involved. She knows what she thinks, but she also knows that no one can protect Tokyo all by themselves. Trusting your teammates is the only way to keep everyone safe. What do you make of it, Ed? Ed squints and takes a long, deep sigh as he turns on the screen. He has something to say, but holds it back. Technology is easy. People are hard. Instead of speaking up, he places a small recorder on his desk. He presses play, and as the audio begins to roll, Ed turns and walks away. Ed, okay. I've heard intriguing stories about so-called manhole girls in Japan. Vengeful ghosts of bullied students said to trick other children into following them into the sewer, where they never return. I'm just like, why? Okay, he's doing a recording. I mean, I guess I'm not much better, but oh well. If any information turns up about such anomalies, I'd be keen to investigate. Though, I speak purely out of personal interest. It might not be enough to make the rest of my team pursue it without further evidence. Okay, safe to say, since you somehow found the time to record something this specific about a single urban legend, that you want to look into it. Ed is really I need to give her a better voice. Oh well. Ed is already engrossed in other work. He doesn't respond. He certainly doesn't notice when Rinko rolls her eyes. He rarely does. Probably best we have no idea how you spend your free time, huh, Ed? God damn it. More people. Rinko's been sitting next to Rinko this entire time, listening and waiting for the right time to chime in. That is... Want me to check it out? I don't think so, Erica. Could be dangerous. What if something happens to you? Seriously? You don't trust me to go out by myself for 5 minutes in the middle of the day? At just, at just 16 years old, Rinko might be right not to trust Erica on something dangerous. Rinko knows that Erica has shown maturity beyond her years. She gives Erica an almost sisterly look of skepticism. You know it's not that. Rinko quickly turns back to her monitors and away from Erica. But for all her maturity, Erica can't keep from pouting. Stop making that face. Besides, we've got our very own private detective in the vicinity already. I'll have him take a look. Ooh. The stall is brimming as a wide array of customers eat in relative silence. The only sound they make is the slurping of their noodles. Yummy. That silence breaks when a phone begins to vibrate upon the countertop. The owner ignores it, choosing to focus on his meal instead. The phone doesn't care about his hunger and continues to vibrate. The phone wins. The peace and solitude have shattered. There's no way to enjoy noodles. Oh, this is no way. God damn it. The silent diner finally glances at the screen. He begins to mutter to himself. Another case. These people have me working harder than my enemies ever did. Can't even get 5 minutes to enjoy a nice quiet lunch. Ooh. What happens if we actually could? The detective reaches over and presses the ignore button and turns the phone's ringer off entirely. In the beautiful silence, he takes another big slurp of noodles. I might not always be around. Time to see how they do without me. I think he's ignoring my messages. I know he'll never win world's most reliable partner, but this isn't really like him. It's not his style to turn down a job like this, no matter how minor it might seem. He pulls this stuff all the time. Probably fine. If he is involved, it's hard to say what's possible. It could be serious, Ed. I think it's serious, Rinko. A rumor so simple to verify. Voices are hard. Sorry, guys. It's far more likely our friend has already looked into it and dismissed it. After all, the manhole girl legend isn't entirely new. Our energy may be better off elsewhere. You're right. We've got more important things to focus on right now. This time, another social media post pops up and grabs Rinko's attention. Reports of a yokai in the form of a double-tailed cat milling about a local convenience store. Ooh. Yota stares at his phone, waiting for a reply, but he doesn't receive one. I forgot his voice already. Oh no. With no one to help, he doesn't know what to do. The only thing he can do is wait. Where are you, Mr. KK? Mr. KK, my friend is in trouble. Yota pulls out his notebook and begins to doodle to pass the time. Umbrella people. He draws a child in a raincoat, dancing under an umbrella. Unless... Yota stops drawing and slowly looks up. Someone is approaching from the alley behind his house. Game over. Alright. I quickly skipped through the dialogue. We're going to see what happens if we actually answer the phone this time. How did I do this? Let me guess. I'll be risking life and limb. That why you let it ring for so long? Too scared to pick up? Huh. You know the exact day I stopped being scared of anything. The day you stopped being a loner and hooked up with us so we could have your back? Sure, that works. Besides, I'm not fool enough to pretend this team isn't half okay. Which one's Erica? Oh. If you need backup, you know I'll be there, no questions asked. I actually already volunteered, but right now there's nothing dangerous to be worried about. It's a simple check-in on a report of some suspicious activity that might be connected to these phenomena we've been looking into. It's always the simple cases that go south the fastest. You know what? You're right. Maybe Erica should run point on this one. She's just a kid, but you're busy, so... Whoa, hold up. Let's not sacrifice a rookie to make me look bad. I'm already out. Send me the info and I'll get on it. First, though, I need to talk to one of you about something. Oh, great, great. More choices, more choices. Renko, why not? Hey, Renko. Let me guess. Pissed I interrupted your precious solitary soba time, guy? Irked, not pissed. I was almost done. God forbid the report of a vengeful spirit abducting children interrupt the same bowl of noodles you've had 1,000 times. Not much left in this world I love. I shouldn't be laughing, but I find this funny when I have to read these lines. When I think of something else, I'll tell you. You won't have a chance to add to the list if we don't figure this out. We both know how powerful the forces we're dealing with really are. We have to keep pulling these threads until we've unraveled the whole damn thing. No thread is too small. Guess I can't argue with that.
Yes?
I know I can rely on you. I might be the only thing I know for certain. Now go prove how smart I am, dumbass. It's probably the job. It's the job I was born to do. Alright. Rhoda doesn't notice people passing him on the street. They don't notice him either. He is young, but he's very much alone. This focus is centered on the small bit of paper in his hands. After a couple folds, the paper finds a familiar configuration. The head, arms, and body, it takes shape. A palm-sized person stands in his hand. As Rhoda inspects his creation, someone has been observing him from afar steps out of the shadows. What have you got there? Rhoda looks up. He's nervous, but clutches the paper doll in his hand to stay brave. He's not running or hiding, despite the gruff stranger staring at him. No need to be afraid. I'm not here to do anything bad to you or your little friend. Gotta admit, I've been known to carry the odd paper doll with me on investigations. Strange habit, I know. But you get the benefits of a partner without the annoying small talk. Rhoda's shoulders ease. He lets his guard down as he listens to the detective and re-examines the folded paper. The detective surprises himself with his playful tone. He's rusty, but he somehow still feels comfortable talking to the scared kid. Sometimes paper dolls are used for magical purposes. You a sorcerer by chance? Now's the time to tell me. God, voices. So you really are him, huh? Gotta have to be more specific, kid. You're KK, the ghost hunter from the files. You must be. I just thought you'd be taller. They say you solve strange mysteries, right? KK? Maybe. The detective looks closely at Ryota's phone. He sees the social media posts featuring photos of various case files he has worked on, collected in one place. Look, I only use those initials because writing out my name is a pain, and I got too much pain already. Not your problem, right? Anyhow, that's me, KK. But I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm a detective. KK's demeanor hardens a bit, dropping the playfulness. You wanted an investigator, kid? Well, you got one. I'm so glad you're going to look into the disappearances at the manholes. Here's the thing. I already did. Made some calls on the way here. There's no record of any recent disappearances. So got a few friends on the force so I can dig up dirt quick. KK shoots Ryota a serious look. Not trying to pull a fast one on me. Are you, kid? It's true! Honest! My buddy Sosuke disappeared. He hasn't come home since yesterday. Last place I saw him was right back here. Ryota mentions to the alleyway behind him. He went down that way. I tried to follow, but I couldn't find him. He was completely gone. If Ryota is bluffing, he's an incredible liar. A sadness comes over him when he looks back towards the alley. I feel like I gotta sneeze. KK looks back and forth from the kid, then to the alleyway behind him. All alleys are dark, but this one looks like it's never seen daylight. See any fog when it happened? The moment he disappeared? Now that you mention it, there had been there's been something spooky around, like a kind of fog or darkness, but it came and then went. Alright. KK mutters something to himself as he eyeballs the alley way behind Ryota. Something that looks immediately out of place, so with so much going down in the city, some kid getting lost doesn't exactly seem like front page news. We're gonna press for more info. I need more to go on, kid. Why are you so convinced he was taken? Didn't happen to anyone else around here. But it did happen to my best friend. Sosuke's been missing for 2 full days. Everyone has been looking, but no one can find him. What about his parents? Haven't they filed a police report? I'm the only one who really cares about Sosuke. I know he needs me. And no one else is even looking for him anymore. Just me. He's lucky to have you. It's like when you saw a crow circling above the building in one of the cases you investigated. You knew that there was more to it than everyone else. Well, Mr. KK, I know there's more to Sosuke's disappearance. I just need your help.
Oh.
Really did your homework, huh? I'm impressed. You're more dedicated than most adults I know. You remind me of my friend, Erica. She lost someone too, and she'll never stop fighting for them either. KK takes another glance at the alley. Alright, show me what exactly where the Sosuke pal of yours disappeared. Ryota perks up. So you're gonna look into it? I'm here, ain't I? Sorry, I just can't help but laugh at how ridiculous this seems sometimes. Let me check in with my team, see if they figured anything out. Could save us some time. KK reaches for his phone. Rinko. What's up? We're all here. I just need a quick word with one of you to follow up on what the kid has told me. Alright, I feel like Ed is the info guy. Ed, you find anything in those files of yours while I was talking to this kid? Unfortunately, I've only done a limited amount of my own research into this legend before being pulled away by other tasks. That said, I've been quite eager to continue it. Ed, spit it out. What do you know? Of course, it's still just a theory. While he was speaking, Ed queued up another file on his audio recorder. He lets it do the talking from here on out. While installing some ethereal energy monitoring hardware that I decided to place throughout the city, I've become aware of micropulses within Tokyo's electrical grid that are only recognized within distinct frequencies. I feel like he's turning more into nerd voice right now. It is my belief that these frequencies are tied to the spiritual resonance, a byproduct of vanishing experiments. My intention is to continue monitoring these pulses via the mobile lab, with the hope of ultimately detecting a source location. So far, sign points to the Shibuya district, but I've been unable to produce more specific results. It's as if the source is continually moving, relocating perhaps. To avoid the exact type of precision detection that I seek to achieve, a moving target, eh? Hell, if you were trying to move quickly through the city undetected, you could do worse than the sewers. Well, Ed, time to test this theory of yours. Ryota, it's time to find Sosuke. Nothing looks out of place, but they are rarely what they seem. KK slowly, deliberately reaches his hands out. He's not holding on to anything, but you would think that he is, by the way he's moving, like he's got something invisible dangling from his fingertips. Ryota has no clue what he's trying to do, but he watches closely. However, what happens next can only be seen by KK's eyes. As KK opens his fingers, a sparkling orb of energy drops from his hand down onto the ground. It feels like water in a still pond, energy flowing outward into the world. Ooh, oh! We saw that. Is he projecting? A strange trail floats into view, as though a spirit has passed through this place. Psychic energy. Trail leads further on, deeper into the alley and out of view. Guess he went that way. Puzzled, Ryoto follows Kike's eyeline down the alley, but sees nothing out of the ordinary. What happened? I don't see anything. Trust me, kid. It's good you can't see it. This is a power you don't want. And you're too young for it. To take a risk like that and change your life forever. The world is a scary place. It keeps getting worse. We gotta find your friend and get you back to your life. Darknet? Oh, okay. AK and Rinko are in big trouble this time, running like rats desperate to stay alive, with only a dingy old sofa between them and monsters. We'd better find another exit. Rinko turns to KK and sees him holding his head. He appears to be in great pain. Damn, it's happening again. Your body's reacting to the ether. Oh, geez, that. As KK looks at the room, his vision begins to break in half. He tries to focus, but rather than reform, everything continues to split apart even further. Another hallucination. The world is breaking in two. That'd be crystallized That'd be crystallized ether, another form of matter. Sounds like your body has entered the final stages of affinity. From thin air, like phantoms, these horrific visitors appear, surrounding KK and Rinko. Damn, we're surrounded. Is that a game over? Not quite. Mr. K? K? Are you okay? Huh. Sorry, kid. My mind can be a little hard to control. You just kind of stood there for a while. Sometimes my memories take me places. Hate to leave you alone again, but you need to wait here while I look for your pal. Sit tight. It won't be long. What's going on there? A report on Rinko's computer setup flashes on screen. Ed's monitoring software has a hold of something big. The results are clear. Spiritual residue, and it's exactly at KK's location. What is it now? We just received an alert. There's a massive surge of spiritual energy at your location. We'll hold off on pursuing until we're able to send support. Can't wait forever for you guys. We might have a missing child on our hands. We got plenty of evidence. I know what I'm getting myself into. Relax. Ed's research has already prepared me. I'm ready. I appreciate the vote of confidence on behalf of my work, but the research was actually quite limited. It was more of a brief overview, in fact. I wouldn't call it actionable intelligence, so to speak. It was very informative overview. I doubt I could be any more ready than I am right now. That's not fair, to ask us to help when you think you need us, then use our words against us when you're too impatient to act as a team. We're in this together. KK decides to address one team member specifically to make his case. I feel like Erica's the best. Probably Erica. What Erica and I have been through, I don't expect everyone else to understand. Hell, I barely understand it. Here's what I do understand. I take risks so others don't have to. And yeah, you all do the same thing. That's why I'm proud to call you my team. But this has to stop somewhere. A line needs to be drawn. We aren't the vulnerable ones who need your protection. We're all strong, and that strength multiplies when we work together to help. Oh! Rinko, whoops. We aren't the vulnerable ones here who need your protection. We're all strong, and that strength multiplies when we work together to help others. You two are special to me, both of you. I think I understand where you're both coming from. It's just that this thing, this torment. Once that power has gotten inside of you, the affinity, it won't let you rest. It's like being chased. We're all running from something awful. I'm sorry that I'm not making sense. I just can't be quiet right now. I have to speak my truth. I have to support whatever decision he makes. The truly selfish act would be to stand still and let it overtake you. In the end, I know that I would do the same thing. Let's hope you never have to. Talk to you later. I'm in the middle of investigating. He never was any good at following people's directions. That attitude of his is precisely what saved our hides on countless occasions. You don't think I realize that? Erica smiles, thinking about KK's attitude. It doesn't bother her. Oh. Damn, they're everywhere. KK's eyes dart between the two horrific figures into some incredibly strange glowing crystals that hover nearby. As he tries to speak, KK wheezes painfully. Rinko, what would happen if someone tried to touch one of those ether crystals? Your guess is as good as mine. Might give you the power to fight back, might just make you even more miserable. Who can say? What about him? Did it grant him strength? Rinko nods silently. After getting his answer, KK, without hesitation, stretches his hand out towards the crystals. Wait, stop! Stopping's not an option. Not for radio. That deep voice is... I'm losing it. Oh well. You don't know what will happen. It could kill you. And those things won't. We're dead if we don't try something. We aren't out... we aren't we aren't out of options yet. You've thrown away everything to fight these monsters. Same as me. There's not a goddamn thing left to lose at this point. Before Rinko can say anything else, KK reaches all the way out. Woohoo! Magic crystal time! Oh. That's terrifying. KK follows a trail of psychic energy deeper into the dark Shibuya alleyway, away from the glow of familiar streetlights and vending machines. His venture into the unseen brings him to a manhole cover where the spirit residue flashes with its eerie intensity. The spot is clearly the origin for whatever spirit is at the center of this mystery. Did they take you this way, Sosuke? KK looks around again and finds nothing, and finding nothing, focuses his attention on this haunted manhole. The spectral vision shows KK a lot more than he thought it might, revealing a glowing specter hovering in this dark and dreary place, the spirit of a man in his 30s. A Jibakure. According to Japanese lore, this type of spirit is trapped in a physical location. Okay, Spectre, what's keeping you down there? The Spectre seems unable to answer him. Instead, he mutters, as if distracted or perhaps completely delirious. Either or, maybe both. Spectres aren't especially concerned with politeness or clarity. Neither of us is going anywhere until I get some answers. I need to know, what are you doing here? Specifically, at this manhole cover. Why haunt this place? I thought it was a kid. Just a kid playing around, just having fun. Alone. I wanted to make sure he was safe. So, just being neighborly, eh? Yeah, no! Not making friend, protecting, but he wasn't. It wasn't a kid, though, was it? There was something else. Something lurking in these shadows. Did I die? I think I died. Well, this isn't what I expected. What was it? Monster? A monster? The Spectre points downwards. Underneath, huh? KK stares at the manhole as though if he just looks hard enough, he'll suddenly see what lurks in the darkness beneath its cover. He doesn't have to see the Spectre nod to know he's right. It went that way. Before he can pull up the manhole cover and see for himself, a long shadow creeps in from the edge of the alley. Did you find some? Did you find something? Anything? Sniffing around is detective business. You don't belong back here. I thought I heard you talking to someone. It was the youngster. Only I can hear you, so don't bother. Only you can hear me? Well, sure. Nobody else is even here. This is turning into a damn clown show. Kid, I need you to stay here while I go down. It's not safe for you here. Breathe there. Not safe. Not safe. Monster. How do you know I'll be safe up here? My team's one call away. They'll get here quick if you're in danger. Weren't you just saying something about being in the middle of an investigation and too busy to talk to anyone? Funny you should mention that. I could actually use some help. I believe they call it client services. Who are you calling, mister? Are they nice like you? Or nicer? Client services. Sounds more like babysitting to me. If only you would just wait for us to get there. We play the hand we're dealt. And juggling working childcare has never been my strong suit. I need a little support. Rinko sighs. A long, tired sigh of a frustrated person who knows that, in the end, of course, they'll help. She's always help him. She'll always help him, just as he will always help her. I have the perfect candidate in mind. Go with Erica. Erica. She's the only kid I actually know and like anymore. Hey, KK, you need my help? I can be there ASAP. I do need your help, but I can't wait. My new friend, Ryota, the one who called us for help. Is he a little afraid of you? What? What? No. What? Why would you think that? I mean, yeah, maybe a little. But no, that's not it. Although it'd be better if he did fear me, then I could do my work. Oh, you aren't really that scary. I get it. Let me talk to him? KK hands his phone to Ryota and motions for him to accept this call. Yeah? Yes? Is this Mr. Ryota? Yes? These two are too similar in voice, oh well. I'm so excited that I get to speak with you. I've heard that you are quite the investigator. I need help from someone like you. What can I do to help? Well, our friend who is there with you, he actually has 2 missions. Since he's looking for your friend, maybe you could swap and look for my friend. Erica. If we share the responsibility, I'm sure that we can achieve success together as a team. I, I, I suppose I could help you, since he is helping me. Okay, but first, can you keep a secret? It's very important and related to this mission. Yes, I'm the best at secrets. I won't tell you how I know that, but it's true. My friend is a cat. I put a tracker on her collar that says she is nearby you, in the alley by your house. I miss her dearly. I'm a little embarrassed to admit it. Some of my best friends are animals. Your secret is safe with me. What does she look like? She is all black with one white spot and a few white whiskers. Her name is Monet. Oh, Monet! Like the painter, and she really likes to hide. You look closely in between and behind all the vending machines and trash cans? Just be safe. Text me a picture of every dark corner you can find. She is very good at camouflage and easy to miss. I'll find your friend. I'll find your friend. Voice. Rhoda hands phone back to KK and turns his attention to the nearest trash can. Phone out. He seems to be inspecting each side of it. Lucky for you, your new buddy is an animal lover, just like me. I've given him a rescue mission to find a missing cat and send me a photo of it. But what if he succeeds? Tons of strays here. He might actually bump into one. I could always use more cat pics, texted me. And maybe they'll give it a home that it needs. Win-win. Now to get down there and find your pal Sosuke. I keep picking the options that I don't want to do voices for, but oh well. Dirty water splashes under KK's feet as he makes his way through the still darkness of... Sorry, I had to sneeze. Through the still darkness of Shibuya sewers. The further he goes, the darker it gets. But not because of any change in light. No, this darkness is unnatural. In fact, it's not darkness at all. It's tangible. Dense fog made of spiritual energy fills the air. Toxic, paranormal waste coats the ground and plugs the drains. But the air itself is rejecting him. This corruption flows between worlds and reaches around him, blocking KK's way. How long has it been building up, right below our feet? Is it like this everywhere? As KK goes deeper, the Kagare only increases. There's definitely something here. If there's this much corruption swirling around, nothing I can't handle, though. Alone in the darkness, KK summons his power and... Ooh. Alright. Oh. I was not expecting to actually have to, trace this. Did we get it? Okay, we got it. Cleanses the corruption, returning the sewer to its normal state. That's better. Minus the stink. The Kagare now cleared. As if it were waiting for a moment of safety, someone appears. Sosuke? Is that you? The small boy avoids KK's look, turning his back and picking at something on the wet ground. Splish, splash, splish, splash. Hey, you, kid. You okay? Can you hear me? Are you hiding from something? Take a bath, take a bath. Come on, kid. This isn't the time or the place. Answer me! I'm not trying to scare you, but you gotta work with me here. In the vast darkness of the sewer, the sound of KK's phone suddenly rings out. The tinny chime echoing back and forth around the hollow space. The small boy in the raincoat doesn't seem to notice. He must be very preoccupied. Yeah. I'm close. I found Sosuke, but I'm worried he won't. Down so far, the signal on KK's phone is barely holding on. He can only make out a few sounds and struggles to make out what words they might be forming.
Oi, oi.
That muffled sound. I don't know if you guys are picking that up. Hello? Is anybody there? Rinko, is that you? Ed? Erica? Who is this? Got my hands full here. The call cuts out, the phone going dead in KK's hand. Damn. Enough screwing around. Sosuke! Just like that, finally, if called up by his mother to come to dinner, the child responds. He stands up, turns to KK with his dead, evil eyes. You're not Sosuke. You're the monster. KK raises his hand and calls forth an energy that he discovered that day long ago. The day he found his back against the wall, reaching out and touching the ether crystal. Ever heard of ethereal weaving monster? Energy surges in KK's hand, green light winding and glowing, charging around his fingertips. The increasingly bright light glows, illuminating the tunnel. And in that moment, standing in the center of the tunnel, we can see this monster, this raincoat visitor, just in time for it to press a child's whistle to its mouth and... Oh! At a stranger's fingertips lies KK, now a prisoner. I need my subject to remain calm, or else nothing will get done. Despite being captive, KK flashes the stranger a fierce glare. You son of a bitch. Hello, my new friend. I'm keen to see how useful your vessel turns out to be. The stranger takes something out and holds it in his hand. An amulet, though clearly not simply for decoration, it surges with power. He looks from the amulet back to KK and smiles. Interesting. As the monstrous little raincoat visitor blows his whistle, he steps back to the shadowy darkness.
Oh.
Running away, huh? But he's not running away at all. In fact, he's only making space for two much larger, far more horrifying visitors to show up and challenge KK. I've been waiting to run into you again. Let's go, you bastards. Either a barrier. Okay. Let's do a defensive barrier. Defensive barrier appears in front of KK. An umbrella visitor attacks, but its attack is deflected by the barrier. Barrier is broken. Another defensive barrier. Bam. Yep. Okay, we're gonna have to attack. One umbrella visitor is injured. An umbrella visitor attacks. Defend. Barrier appears. But, yep. Yeah, we'll hit that. Another isn't. Umbrella visitor attacks. Yeah, let's stop him from moving. Attack. Not quite sure what's going on. Awakens from the stun. Attack. Ah, that's probably the way we're supposed to do it, was stun, attack, stun, attack. And he's injured. You're done. Attack. Oh, that's cool. I like the animation. Fight now over. The sewer is oddly calm again. KK sweeps the space looking for any clues that might be left behind. Why would a pack of monsters manifest their evil here? Then he sees it fixed to one wall of the tunnel, a one tag, sometimes called a kifuda. That must be what summoned those things. KK reaches out to take the kifuda down, but as his fingertips approach it... Aha! And I guess this is where we meet the stranger? Rinko. God damn it, Rinko! Erica? KK feels a quick thump through his body. When he looks down, he sees someone else's arm stabbing through his chest. It's horrifying. Black smoke rushes out of his body. Looking back up, KK sees a man wearing a Hanya mask? I don't know how to pronounce that. Gort. Ugh. As KK comes to, he realizes that he's in the tunnel. He's in the tunnel once again. Don't know why I'm talking like that. No, still. Looks at his chest. It's totally fine. No gaping hole. Not even a scratch. Sweating, breathing heavy, his mind races. It was a horrible dream. Maybe a vision? He grips the kafuda in his hand. I won't let him get away with this. So hard that it smashes into pieces. At that moment, KK realizes he's not actually alone. Distracted by his fury, he had missed the approach of someone new. Who's there? Surprised, he bends to face his enemy before he can raise his other hand. Ah! KK emerges from the tunnel to find Ryota waiting with the rest of the team. You made it! Of course I did. Hope you weren't too worried. It's good to see you in the welcoming party. It's embarrassing to admit it, but I actually was starting to get a little worried. Rinko and Ed's monitoring system was off the charts, all kinds of activity around here. And then when we got here, you were gone and didn't come right back up. It was a long few minutes of trying to play it cool. I lost you. Who would I have left? Not very much, I'm afraid. There are plenty of things in your life more worthy than me. That's just it, I guess. I am being selfish, I think. When I see you, when I think about everything you've been through, I know that we're similar people, except you're much stronger. If you didn't survive, how could I ever? Maybe we're not totally the same on the surface or whatever, not at all the same. But the loss that you've experienced, deep down... If anyone could possibly understand, it's you. Please, Erica, don't focus on me. Sure, I came back this time, but I could have gone the other way. It could have gone the other way. It's hard to explain to someone young like you, who's been through so much, but has their whole life ahead of them. You've got to live for yourself. You can't help anyone else's situation until you get control of your own. I know your heart. It may be broken with what your father did to your family, and I'll never forgive him. Those broken pieces are in the right place. You need to be strong for yourself. Then you can stand beside me and Rinko and Ed, and we can put our lives on the line for the people we love, together. And then, things are going to be fine. Just you wait and see. Safely above ground, reunited with his team, KK turns his attention to the original source of all this drama, his young client, Ryota. You were never going to tell me, were you? Sosuke isn't your friend. He's your dog! He's my dog and my best friend. KK steps back nervously as Sosuke tries to jump into his lap, tail wagging. Oh, calm down. He just wants to be pet. Jeez. Who'd have thought this such a tough-as-nails former detective would have such a strong phobia around dogs? Don't have to broadcast it, alright? Don't be scared. Sosuke loves everyone. Maybe you should draw the line at loving monsters and following them into the sewer. Ryota hugs his dog and gets a face full of looks in response. KK relaxes slightly, seeing how harmless this little dog is, but still keeps some distance. Thank you so much for bringing him home safely, Mr. KK. Mr. KK? What an adorable alias. When exactly did you start going by this new short nickname, KK? Suppose it has a fun ring to it. Not quite as formal as your full name. Before we get too sidekicked as lead investigator on this one, you've got some paperwork to do, KK. Not sure what's worse, fighting monsters or filling out all these damn forms. It's obvious you prefer the fighting to paperwork. KK scribbles out a few quick lines. Only Ed can read them. Hey kid, this is for you. Ooh, is this a prize for helping you find that ghost? Almost. It's the bill. Ryota's face sinks as he left holding the check. Lucky for you, today's work is pro bono. That means free. Consider this your receipt. I'm feeling generous right now. Ryota looks closely at the paperwork in his hand. It says, the case of the cursed manhole. Extermination complete. KK. Leaning in over his shoulder, Rinko lets out an uncharacteristically loud burst of laughter. Oh, now I get it. You didn't choose the name KK. Sloppy paperwork chose it for you. There's a lot in this life that we don't get to choose. Call me when you like. Not like I've got any use for a real name these days, and definitely not one of my old names. Doesn't matter what anyone calls me so long as I find that bastard. KK's gaze looks fierce, as though he's recalling a bitter past. Reflected in his eyes is Ryota, who looks pleased to have received KK's autograph. KK's expression softens up in response. That said, I guess KK's not so bad. Bam! And that is Ghostwire Tokyo Prelude. It was interesting. I feel like there's not a lot. I wish they had like the music going a lot better in the background of this, but oh well. Can't think of anything else. Yeah, I guess I'm looking. This will probably go up on the 24th is what I'm probably gonna shoot for now. Yeah, just so it's out and people have a chance to possibly watch it before I do the stream on Friday of Ghostwire Tokyo. So for those, so that should be on the 25th. If this comes out on the 24th, that is tomorrow. If this comes out Monday, which I hope it doesn't, but if it does, comes out on Monday, then that would have already passed. And I plan on doing another stream this, either on the next Friday or Saturday. I try to stream during weekends for those of you on YouTube where I play the games. You don't miss too much in my editing. I typically leave a lot of stuff in, but with that, I'm gonna let the credits continue to roll, and I'm gonna call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Later.